Here you can see an example of a fabric. It is a satin type of fabric that you would describe as white, and stores would also label this as white. But when you create a digitally created control point representing pure white, you can see that this fabric is not really white. It is absorbing a very specific frequency spectrum, which makes it appear grayish, bluish. I even see a little bit of green. And when I take 15 frequencies out of the visible light spectrum and simulate fabric colors that you would always describe as white, you can still be able to see differences based on what kind of frequency spectrum they will be reflecting and absorbing. At the top, you can see types of white that appear reddish or orangey. In the center, you will see types of white that appear more bluish. At the bottom, you will see white that appears more purplish and magenta. Without this comparison, you will not even know the difference, and you will mistakenly choose types of white that are dissonant to your color type, because it does make a huge difference whether the white that you're wearing is appearing reddish or orangey, bluish, or more purplish or more magenta. Here you can see other examples of fabrics that you would all describe as white, or that stores would label as white. And there is a general rule how fabrics tend to reflect and absorb the visible light spectrum. The more artificial a fabric is, the more white it will appear. The more natural a fabric is, the less white it will appear. So linen and cotton will usually appear less white unless it was bleached, and this is also not a healthy way of wearing colors anyway. If you take organic cotton and you dye it in a white color, it will never appear as a pure white, as natural dyes behave very differently than artificial dyes, also in conjunction with the type of fabric that it is being applied on. If you check this now with the white control point, you will now see how much the fabrics actually deviate from a pure white, and only very few you would still describe as white. For example, this fabric or this one or this one, you would easily describe as a pure white or very close to a pure white, while all the other ones are further from this pure white. These two fabrics are artificial fabrics, they are not natural fabrics, and this is a type of linen fabric that has been bleached. You only can achieve a pure white by bleaching it artificially. Now let's find out why my client can't wear white. In this analysis image, luckily she is wearing two types of white. The blouse on top appears more bluish, while the shirt beneath appears a little bit warmer. So the blouse on top goes back to a blue color, while the shirt beneath goes back to a yellow color. Now this is very important to know, because blue is not a color that she can wear well, because it is dissonant to her color type, which I will explain in a second, while the yellow spectrum is perfect for her color type. So anything that is based on a very specific yellow frequency will be beautiful and harmonious with her color type. You can see that the blouse on top is way too harsh for her, while the shirt beneath seems more harmonious with her skin tone. But why is white, just in general, a wrong color for her? And we just talked about the hue, meaning the frequency of different white fabrics. But let's take the better one, the more aligned one that was based on this yellow. Why can she still not wear this color well? Here you have the blouse root color. Once again, it is almost greenish appearing yellow. And because this greenish looking yellow is not the perfect frequency for her, I had to find the perfect one. It is this one, more of a golden yellow. When you observe that on the color spectrum, here you can see the blouse root color. It is almost a true yellow, while her perfect frequency is a little bit closer to the orange spectrum. Now, what about the chroma? Is this shirt color too bright or too soft for her? Because of her chroma type, which is not bright or semi-bright, any type of white will be rather harsh for her color type, which is why any type of white, whether it is a pure white or an off-white, will be too bright of a chroma for her. Now let's have a look at the depth. Is this maybe too dark or too light for her? Now, aside from chroma and hue. And because of her depth type, she cannot wear too light colors because she needs a very specific depth range when it comes to colors in general to look radiant and beautiful, to enhance her coloring properly. So this means that any type of white will generally be too light for her. So here are the 3 reasons why white is wrong for my client. This particular shirt hue was wrong for her. Chroma was too bright and the depth was too light for her. Let's have a look at a before and after. I've taken the warmer quality shirt color and applied it here. While you might say it looks okay, it looks fine, I can see how the hue is dissonant, how the chroma is too bright. It creates a barrier between the color and her. I don't really notice her. I don't feel connected to her or having the ability to connect with her because the color is really like a wall standing in between us. In terms of depth, it also creates a wall or a barrier between her, and it makes her look unapproachable. It is not able to emphasize any of her features, and thus she cannot stand out in this type of color. When you observe her hair color, you can now see that she is transitioning, in a transitioning phase of turning gray, and when that happens, when her hair turns completely gray, this color in the right hue, obviously, and in the right depth and chroma will be aligned with her. But not at the moment when she is still having her natural coloring and she has still enough color that needs to be emphasized through the colors that she's wearing. So for now, any type of white or gray is not something that I would recommend. When you compare that to the after, where I've taken the warmer yellow, the golden yellow, the perfect frequency for her, and I've tuned it down in chroma and in depth for her specific color type, you can see how much more emphasized her skin tone, eyes and hair are now. You see her immediately. You feel like she's approachable. You feel more connected with her. This color doesn't create any barrier. It enhances her features. It makes her look more radiant. If you love this video, leave a like and leave a comment. Feel free to share this video with anyone who will benefit from this information. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to elevate your style and health this year, and I recommend watching this video next.